Okay guys, this is another calculator skills problem. I think it's from page 28 of your packet, somewhere right around there. But we reviewed some skills today that are important to know how to do on your calculator, and I wanted to give you one more chance to try this out. So pause the video and try to graph this function for a minute in your calculator before coming back to me. So what I've done is type the equation right here and try to do exactly what I think y'all will do, which is just hit enter and then flip out a little bit because I don't see anything. Remember in our big unit paper at the bottom where it says calculator skills, I told you that my go-to is to go from -10 to 10. Whoops. And my strategy, because that clearly doesn't work here, is not to go to zoom, but instead to extend with some zeros, -100 to 100. And that's my kids, sorry. And see if extending out this much will help a little bit. Still not okay. I'm going to go back to my problem and take a look. This is also so nice, and this might happen to you on your test tomorrow. If you notice, I give you a visual of what I should see, and it's no wonder that -100 to 100 is not working. The x-axis only goes from 0 to 30, and the y-axis goes from 0 to 9,000. That's a clue to you for how to change your window. So now I'm going to go back to my window settings and adjust appropriately. X-min 0, X-max 30, Y-min 0, and I don't remember, the Y-max was like 9,000. So it would have taken me forever to get there on my own, so let's use context clues from the graph. And here we go. I see the same thing. Option A here says use the graph to estimate the amount of bottled water consumed in 94. I'm not really going to ask you to do that, but what I could do is ask you to get an exact time for, or exact amount, sorry, for how much water was consumed in 1994. We start in 97, so x equals 0 represents 1977, and here I'm asking you for 1994. So that is what, 17 years later, so I'm asking you for the input of 17. What we talked about earlier is that many of you like to hit Control T and then go down to 17, which is fabulous. You get 3027.95. You know me, that's not my favorite. I prefer opening up a calculator page and doing variable of 17. 3027.95. Oh dear, they're blowing whistles. So it looks like 3027.95 is the millions of gallons of water consumed in 1994. These last two questions are two I'd like to highlight, in particular the second sentence of part C that says use your calculator to determine the exact time when water consumption reached 6 billion gallons. So I'm going to think about that. 6 billion, remember, is a number sorry, I had to get some crayons set up. It's a number bigger than a million. Here's 6 million. 6 billion has 3 more zeros. So remember, our scale is already going in millions, so we're accounting for all of these already, which means when I ask you for 6 billion, I'm really looking for 6,000. And the biggest thing for you to note is that 6,000 is not an input, it's an output. So I don't need to do variable of 6,000, that's not helpful. But what we talked about today is that typing in the output 6,000 is going to be my best bet for figuring out what time that happens at. I go to menu number 6, number 4. I scroll this line somewhere to the left of that intersection, doesn't have to be very far away, and somewhere to the right. And here is my intersection. So I can see here without estimating that the exact time that we hit 6 billion gallons of water is 24.8501. I would come over here and say that that's when x equals 24.8501 years after 1977, since that's when we started. All right, so this last question, use your calculator to determine when water bottle consumption was less than 2 billion gallons. Same idea, 2 billion is this huge number. Since I'm already counting in millions, I get to delete those 6 zeros, and I'm trying to figure out when the bottle consumption is less than 2,000 million. Go to my calculator, and I'm realizing that's an output. So I'm going to go up and change that 6,000 to a 2,000. Whoops. And I can see that I'm less than that from the time I start up to that intersection. So again, my intersection command, go to the left, go to the right, there's the intersection, 131863, and I can see that it's all of this right in here underneath the red line where I'm meeting that threshold of being less than 2 billion. So when I go to my answer over here, I need to say that the water bottle consumption was less than 2 billion gallons from 0 all the way up to 13, and I've forgotten my digits, 0.1863. I'm putting a parenthesis because I strictly asked for less than, not less than or equal to. And that's it. We just have to use that intersection key to help us find these approximations. Good luck studying, guys. I know you're going to do great.